What did the doctors tell you about your recovery? What did they say the rest of your life is probably going to look like?
They told me I'd never walk again. And my mom was, she had her mind fixed and said that will never be me. I'm going to walk again.
Good day, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of For Health and Happiness here at Iris Studio. Today we have a special guest in the studio, one of my PT clients, Rakai Young. How you doing, Rakai?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us in the studio today. So what I want to do today is kind of talk about your fitness journey. I think your fitness journey is one of perseverance, and one of the importance of people coming together, and why fitness and the gym culture could be such a beautiful thing. Now, for anyone that doesn't know you and they're just looking at you on screen, they probably don't know the story. They don't know what you've been through. So what I want you to do is take us back to the accident that you went through and tell us what happened. Tell us about the physical and mental things that came out of the accident.
Okay. So it goes back to Heroes Day weekend of 2012, and my mom put my personal bike in the shop because she didn't want me on a bike this day. And I was supposed to be with my father, and my father ended up giving me his bike. And I contacted my mom, asked her where she was, unbeknown to her that I was asking so I could travel there to her. When I get there, she's happy to see me, but also quite upset because I'm on my father's bike. So her first question is, why are you on your father's bike? I didn't want you on a bike this weekend. I told her that it's okay, Mom. I'm just taking the bike this place. Following that, I rode off. She told me ride safe, and from her recollection is that I rode off, and maybe a half an hour to 45 minutes later, she saw the ambulance go across, and she said her gut told her something was up, and she said, "No, I just left the hospital. I hope they don't call me back." And right as she did that, her phone rang, and she knew it was a part of the hospital, but she just didn't know which section. So she answered, and they said, "Oh, Cherie, can you come down to the hospital?" And she's like, "Why? I just left the hospital." And they said, "Unfortunately, we can't get into details at this moment, but can you please come down to the hospital?" And she told me that when she got there, as soon as she walked in the door, she instantly knew it was head and brain damage, because my head was so swollen that she saw my pulse on the side of my head from the doorway. And she said when she noticed that, the first thing she asked was I drinking? Because she told me that had I been drinking, it would have lessened or limit my chances of making a full recovery. But thank goodness it didn't turn out that way, even though quite a few people that I was with before had told me that I was hot. So I say by the grace of God, I'm still here.
So just to make sure, you was in a bike accident after you left your mom.
Yes.
And then you went to the hospital, and then that's when she got that call to come back to the hospital.
Yes.
And so you don't remember the accident at all?
No. I do remember what the area it was in, on South Shore Road in Devonshire, between the pet store and the gas station. So basically the back road to Maui. Yeah.
So what was the ramifications physically, mentally, because of the accident? How did that change your life?
Well, the first one was when I awoke. I had no physical movements. I couldn't even move my head, couldn't move my mouth, couldn't do nothing. All I could do was just lay there and just look at you. Couldn't respond to nothing.
That must have been a shocking, crazy feeling, scary.
It was beyond surreal, to say the least. And to this day, I thank God every day. I pray so many times a day now, compared to me prior. Yeah, mostly when I was younger, it was mainly when and if I attended church or if there was a prayer offered by someone else. But now I pray all the time to communicate with him and thank him and let him know that my heart is back here. Yeah. Because to be honest, I had fallen off. I went astray from so much right that I was taught and supposed to do.
But now you're back.
Yeah.
Well, it's always glad that you could be here with us, that this thing didn't take your life. And I think that's even important because I think sometimes Bermuda's known for bike accidents, and it's crazy the amount of people, the way they still ride.
Yeah.
Now we do hear a lot about the deaths, which is extreme enough. But then you do have those cases where you might not die, but your whole life can be changed. So the fact that you made it is great. The fact that you can be here. And I think one of the things that always strikes me about you is even though this thing changed you, it changed your physical limitations, it changed your cognitive ability, that can mess up a lot of people. And I know I'm sure you have your hard times.
Yes.
But you always seem positive. Like, for you guys at home, this guy won an award last year for corniest joke teller. Like, you always seem to be in good spirits for the most of the time, always wanted to tell jokes. You know, you love to make yourself laugh. You love to make other people laugh. Where do you think that comes from? Is that a way for you to cope, or is that something that's come out of the accident?
Actually, my whole life I've been like that. Yeah. Unfortunately, you haven't really met my father or or his father, but it was passed on to us. Like, unfortunately, we have there's quirks about us. Yeah.
I want to go back to the accident for a second.
Okay.
What did the doctors tell you about your recovery? What did they say the rest of your life is probably going to look like? You waking up practically paralyzed.
So first they told me I'd never walk again. So then, as I'm in the hospital, they said that I'm going to get fitted for a permanent wheelchair, a motorized wheelchair. And my mom she had her mind fixed and said that will never be me. I'm going to walk again. She said that the doctor said there's a possibility of me walking again. So she said that it's just gonna make that the goal. And once that became the goal, fulfilling it became the task. And once that task was completed, it was, well, what's next?
So I know your mom. I also train your mom. Shout out Sherry.
Yes.
She is a fighter.
Yes.
And when you say, as soon as they gave her an inch, I can see, and she just told me some of the stories of, her doing whatever. It might not even have been the best thing, but she's like, I'm going to try because no one else seems to. And she didn't give up on you.
Yes.
And I think, again, talking about community, talking about people, talking about your support system, having your mom as your mom, I really, more than anything else, this is why you're where you are today.
Absolutely.
She would not give up on you, and I have a lot of respect for her because, she owns her own business. She's still working at the hospital. She's still got a family, but she made sure, like, no, I won't let Kai slip away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight for him, and I think that's just a great person to have. So in your prayers, I definitely hope you remember Mama Sherry every single time,
Each and every time.
So you had talked about they didn't think you'd be able to walk again, and they were going to fit you for a wheelchair. Now, I guess through some of the help with Sherry and some other stuff, you are starting to walk.
Yes.
Now, what made you start wanting to get into like resistance training?
One, I saw quite a few people in videos of persons without limbs and parts of the body and doing so much more than myself and quite a few others that have older extremities, but they just sit around and do nothing. I'm like, I don't wish to be a part of that society. I want more. And I always felt and believed that, especially because my mom kept saying it, that this was just a test. And I just wanted to pass this test. That's what gave me my drive and constant resistance against everything and all the odds that would run against me.
I think that's great. So since you started, and I will kind of attest to certain things, but since you started training, how did you notice that affect your physical health and even just your cognitive abilities as well?
Prior to training and working out and with everything, an extreme amount of limitations. So, firstly, to become a baby again was a test within itself mentally.
I can't even imagine.
To go from talking like this to not being able to say a word, but just later in the hospital bed and just be so frustrated and enraged with so much. But at the same time, thankfully, that had driven me to say my first few words. And yes, they were unfortunately on the bad and profanity side of it. But
you gotta start from somewhere.
Yeah, it helped. The frustration helped me get it out. And then it was actually just like our training session sometimes, where we have to go back to doing things repetitively. So all I needed was just the repetition, and once my muscles started getting the muscle memory back, it became a whole lot easier.
I would say I definitely agree to that. Just to kind of speak a little bit more on some of those limitations since we started. As you remember, when you first got in the accident, your arm was pretty much fixed on your chest. Like you couldn't move it at all. If I remember correctly, Sherry had said she had just put cast on your arm just to, you can start just extending it a bit. When we first started, and I still remember, even though it was extended a bit, you maybe had about quarter range. And we started with like a 2.5 plate to do a bicep curl. And the main goal was to help build up some of that arm strength, just to help whenever you got to stand up. and to also help increase that range of motion, focusing on the stretch. And, now you're doing bicep curls with the 15s, the 20s with much more range of motion. We had a lot of issues with your legs. And, we've had this conversation numerous times, like, Kai, you are a special case. We are not going by the book. We're going to try it. We're going to see if we see a difference in the gym.
Yes.
And if we see a correlation with an improvement of your movement patterns outside of the gym. So there's a lot of different things we tried just to try and improve your mobility, improve the strength in your leg to the point where, you went from someone that they didn't think you'd be able to walk to you were leg pressing about 90 pounds on that weaker leg.
Yeah.
And all the time, I would always talk to you because there's a lot of correlation between resistance training and building up your cognitive function, just that good brain health. And it's because you cannot just move. You have to be deliberate with all your movements. You have to think feet flat. Is my core tight? Am I keeping my posture? Because of those weaknesses, but because you kept doing it. And I would always say it, and then I'll hear you say it. And that's the way, this is how you start to remember. So again, you're constantly working your brain. Even the way you stepped, I told you, no, Kai, you are not going to drag your foot.
Yes.
I need you to step. We did drills to work on your step, on your coordination. And then when you step now is not one step, one drag. You were deliberately picking up your foot and stepping.
Yes.
And, to see you walk upstairs, to see you have to walk from home to the gym. I still remember, if you remember when we was at Beast upstairs, I would always have to help you off the leg press.
Yes.
Clear as day. I remember turning around for a second, probably put something in the trash because I was wiped off the machine, and turned around and you were standing up. And I was like, what?
I do remember that exact moment, and you was like, how did you get up? And I'm like, I just got up. And you was like, let me get this right. You got up when you're in? I say, yeah.
He was like, I tell you, I call you guys a Fitz kids because you guys make me feel like a proud father sometimes. And I couldn't wait for the next week to actually see, like, okay, how did this guy actually do it? But it's because we worked on all those things. And I think with that training, the fact that you tried it is because you had the confidence to try it.
Yes.
And I think that's an important part of just fitness and health as well. Having that strength to be confident to try something. And, we just want to see, and that's all we do. We just see where you are. How can we push you? How can we challenge you? How can we make this movement pattern? And to this day, I was like, all right, let's see if we make a difference. Let's switch it up. Let's see. And then we just proceed from there, making sure we see that reflection, not just in the gym, but outside of the gym as well. I want to know, I'm big on a fitness community, and I want my clients, I try to make you guys a family. I want you guys to feel like you can rely on each other. You're meeting different people, different walks of life. How has the gym in total, not just with like me and my clients, but just how has the gym fitness family in totality kind of helped you on your journey?
I will state that I have felt very inspired and motivated from time to time, thanks to other members of the gym, because as you've seen a few times where I felt like, hey, I've hit this plateau or I can't do no more. And it's just, there's voices from other people saying, come on, Kai, you got this, you could do it. And it's just that reminder just helps me every time, and I appreciate each and every one of them. I do.
And it's actually it's a momentum builder, because those same people who are motivating you, they're still being motivated by you, because they're seeing someone that has these limitations still coming in, still improving, still in a good mood. And it's you helping them, they're helping you. It's just a nice synergistic energy where everyone can feed off of and just think, you know what? I want to motivate him so he can do better. Man, look how Kai's doing. If he could do it, I know I can keep pushing too. And again, I think that's where the gym culture is always going to be a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Now, like for people that see you, some of your limitations are visible and they can see what you're going through. What are some of the limitations or those feelings that someone, if they might not see it, but it's still stuff you have to deal with?
Because my right side was my damaged or injured side, they instructed me to do left first. But my whole life, I've always done right first. So it always confused me to the point where one too many times I ended up tripping up because my body, my mind and my body are not
in sync.
No. So I say, you know what? I appreciate what they taught me and and made an attempt on with me, but I have to go back to what feels natural and comfortable. And I'm glad I made that decision because ever since, as you've seen, I've improved quite a bit more.
And it's something we can always go back to. Just try and experiment, get comfortable, and then see what happens if you make that switch. I think, again, that's the beautiful thing about a journey. If something doesn't work at the time, we can always go back and try it again later if we think we have to. So if someone's listening today and they've experienced something, or they just think they feel limited in where they are now, what would you tell them?
That I would let them know that most times the limitation is actually sometimes you place on yourself. Because if you believe and feel you can do it and achieve it. And what was a saying that I heard growing up was, what, believers are achievers? Yes. And I believed that I could do and get to this plateau that I'm at, and I've achieved it. And now that I've made it, I'm set to set the line and a little higher, and to achieve that as well.
And I would just add in the importance of having a good network, a good support system. I think once you have that belief and you have the right people around you that can push you, that can tell you the things, you might not want to hear. And I would tell you, if you want to hear it or not. I think that's one of the things that could take you to those new heights and propel you forward. In closing, if there's anything you want to say.
Actually, yes. I would love to thank everyone that has helped me along the way, especially this angel sent from God named Tyrone Hafiz James. Yes, he's the best.
Thank you for that. And I would just say, again, thank you. Because, as I stated before, there is a lot of trial and error. There is a lot of experiments. But hopefully, I only want the best for you. And I don't care how much pain I have to put you through to bring the best out of you. But I do hope, you can keep pushing forward. You can keep striving, and we keep seeing improvements, physically, mentally, socially, because you do have a lot to give. You do have a lot to offer. And I want to see you be the best you can be.
Yes. Thanks, Anderson.
So guys, until next time, be happy, be healthy.